Hey, this is Miss Mallows again. We've got another lesson for you today. And today's lesson is going to be on assignments. Now, I know that all of you, when you click down from your test and you wind up with an assignment, you panic. But there's no need to panic if you will just follow the directions and do what I'm asking you to do in this video. Now, I know assignments are hard, I'll admit that, but it's something that you have to do to get your high school diploma, and everybody has to do them. So just don't get in a swivet about it. I'm here to help you, and I'm gonna walk you through the process. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is go to the NLRO website, of course, and that website name is edmastery.com/NLR standard. And you'll see that I put that on the screen. So just go ahead and log in. Just for the purpose of this exercise, I picked a random essay assignment for us to look at, and it's the Crucible essay. Let's take a look. Now, this is the same thing you're going to do on all of your essays. First, you need to read the assignment directions in detail. In case you have the Crucible essay, I'm going to read the directions. I know it's small on your screen, so I'm going to read it to you. Just bear with me. The Crucible was famously written in 1953 as an allegory for McCarthyism, though Arthur Miller claimed to have based it on the actual happenings in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. For this assignment, you'll be comparing and contrasting the historical Salem witch trials with the way they are portrayed in the Crucible. What did Miller portray accurately? What did he get wrong? Now let me clarify this. The Crucible was an actual play written by Arthur Miller in 1953. Now, what he wrote about was what happened in the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials occurred back in 1693, and they were a real event where people were wildly accused of being witches, and most of them, if not all of them, were innocent. When you do your research on this, first thing you need to do is look up the definition for allegory. Okay, then when you start researching this, you're going to put in what was the difference between the Crucible and the actual Salem witch trials. That's something that you can put in Google to research it with. There are several other ways that you could put that. You just have to experiment with it and see what results you get. A lot of the research that you're going to find talks about McCarthyism, and the parallel between that and the actual Salem witch trials is that in the 1950s, people were wildly accused, as they were in the Salem witch trial, of being communist. And again, a lot of these people were innocent. Now let's finish the directions. Remember the essentials for a good paper. You will need a strong thesis statement, at least 2 solid compare-contrast points, research from credible historic sources, evidence from your text, and a well-constructed conclusion. Each compare-contrast topic you choose will be supported by both textual evidence and cited research. If you don't have either one of these, you will not be able to effectively make your point. Remember that your research should be summarized and cited. Avoid plagiarism, please do, at all costs. See the rubric in the lesson for how you will be graded and adjust your writing appropriately. Your paper must be at least 750 words and no more than 1,500. Now, when they say you need a thesis statement, that's just a brief sentence in your introduction paragraph about what you're going to be writing about in the essay. When they say you need at least 2 solid compare-contrast points, they mean you will need to write what is the same in the play and what is different, and have 2 examples. textual evidence is going to be from the play, and cited research is just what you found from your sources on the internet. You're going to need to include information from both of those. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is I want you to click on the student rubric. Now, rubric just means how I'm going to grade your paper. So if you will pull up the student rubric, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because you can read the rubric for whatever essay that you're doing. But on this particular one, they say that the introduction is no more than 6 sentences. So if you have more than 6 sentences in your introduction, I'm going to have to count off for it. And that 1 point that I would have to count off, if you'll see right below that, that's 1 point times 6, so that would be 6 points off. All right, so your introduction has to establish the context and purpose of the paper, and a clear thesis outlines the major compare-contrast topics to be addressed. We talked about that thesis statement earlier, and that's just a one sentence that talks about what you're going to say in the paper. Okay, so it says compare-contrast content. Each singular comparison or contrasting example is clearly delineated into its own section. What that means is that you use a separate paragraph for the comparison information and a separate paragraph for the contrasting information. It says there is no overlap or confusion of specific points, and transition words are used effectively. You can read the rest of the rubric yourself, but I want to call attention to almost the last category, which says mechanics. And it says that the student's paper is divided clearly into introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. So don't just submit one huge paragraph for the whole paper. You need to divide it into several paragraphs. You need to have the first paragraph as your introduction and the last paragraph as your conclusion. And look at the next thing. It says the student's use of grammar and punctuation is impeccable and free of any immediately obvious issues. So you need to pay attention and double check your grammar and make sure that you use the proper punctuation so that you can get all of these points. Now, on the conclusion, this paper requires that you have no more than 5 sentences. If you have more than 5 sentences, I have to count off for that. And one other thing that they don't say on this that I want to stress to you is to not forget to copy and paste the website addresses from your research sources at the end of your paper. This shows that you did use at least 2 sources, which will get you your full points for the essay. Now, this is important. The rubric for each essay that you have to do may be different. So always look at the rubric because this is exactly how I'm going to grade your paper. Okay, I know that was a tedious exercise, but it is so important that you read the directions and that you look at the student rubric because so many people are confused over how I grade their papers. I hope that you're enjoying your day, and I hope that you're staying inside and away from that coronavirus. We don't want anything to get you. We want to see you back at Job Corps because we miss you. If you have any questions about this assignment or any other assignment, I'm here to help you. So all you need to do is shoot me an email at NLRO2GJCC@gmail.com. And if you submit a paper, just email me. That way I can give you some feedback on it if I need to, or maybe I need to send some corrections back to you. Just feel free to email me with any questions that you have. Have a good day.